ring with Gary Michael Capetta, to the studio, and your host, Stevie Ray.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Gary Michael Capetta?
Yeah.
Where did you find this guy?
He was
First of all, I don't
some of
need,
the enhancement talent we're talking about tonight.
I don't need Gary Michael Capetta introducing anything. Gary Michael Capetta, I seen him a year or so ago as I'm sitting in a restaurant, me and my brother trying to have a meal after a whole day of signing autographs. Who do we see walking to the restaurant?
The Fink?
No, we seen Gary Michael Capetta, and I thought I had put him on the shelf some 15 to 16 years earlier. I look up, he's walking into the restaurant, and I'm trying to eat some kind of crooked Mexican meal that they had in the state of North Carolina, which you know was probably garbage, but I had to eat something.
North Carolina enchiladas, is that what you had?
Probably, I don't know. I look up, Gary Michael Capetta is sitting down with us, and he's at the autograph session. Why, I don't know. Who wants this man's autograph?
Oh, really? Come
I
on.
don't know. I don't know what he was doing there.
One of the great ring announcers in the history of professional wrestling.
That is debatable. That is debatable at every level. Okay, I like Gary Michael Capetta. You might not think that by what I'm saying right now.
You were more of a David Penzer guy. Is that what you're saying?
Look, David Penzer David Penzer was not only the same level of a Gary Michael Capetta. And this is what I want to know.
Yeah.
Why, and I always wanted to ask him this. And he had spoiled my meal, and I forgot to ask him that night. He even spoiled my drink. I think he knocked my drink over when he sat down. And nobody even invited him to sit down. He just did it on his own. I took offense to that. Well, what makes him think he can just sit down with me? This ain't Sam's boat. This is not some restaurant where the people come and sit down with you and kick their legs up and write down your order. This is not that. This is not the Crab Shack or Captain Geechee and the Shrimp Shack shooters. I don't care what it was, but he shouldn't do that.
So he knocked your drink over.
Yeah, I think he knocked my drink over.
Did he get you another drink?
No, he didn't.
Oh, wow.
No, he didn't. He wants to walk outside and have a conversation and banter about something.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to go home and go to sleep. And I think we left Gary Michael Capetta at this joint. And I'm getting off track right now.
Yeah.
But going back to what I was saying.
Yes.
David Penzer is not on the same level as a Gary Mike. And I want to know, why did the man use three names?
Gary Michael Capetta?
Yeah.
I don't know. We're gonna have to have him on the
that
show.
reminds me
We'll
of a
find
Lee.
out.
That reminds me of a Lee Harvey Oswald.
Okay.
That reminds me of a John Wilkes Booth.
Never trust a man with three names?
No, I think you should shoot a man with three names. That's what I think.
Well, thanks again, Gary.
Guys, whatever.
Well, before we get into our topic this week on
Well,
Stand
you know
Up
what?
for Greatness.
What topics? I don't want to talk about any. I want to talk about Gary
We're
Michael
talking
Capetta.
about El Dandy and Hardbody Harrison this week on the show, Stevie. You
that's
remember Hardbody Harrison?
Actually, I don't. Who is he? What does he?
You remember
What did he ever do?
You remember High Voltage?
Yeah,
don't
they're
you?
very good friends of mine.
Yes.
And wait a minute, what do you got against High Voltage?
I have nothing against them.
Why do you have them on that screen?
Well, that you're gonna have to ask our
No.
producer.
I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Why is High Voltage on this?
A strong team. Look at them right here. That was from WCW Saturday Night. Mike Winter right here.
Is that his name?
Joey Maggs over here.
Magalini?
Yeah, Joey Maggs right there.
Well, I think that was short for Magliano.
Nasty Ned Brady. I mean, these are
Ned Brady is a good friend of mine.
Really?
Why are you saying disparaging things toward these people?
I'm not saying
These
anything.
people were my friends. Mike Winter was my friend.
Some people may refer to Randy Hogan as a jobber. I would refer to him as enhancement talent.
Wait a minute.
That's
Wait
part
a minute.
Of the
Wait
show.
a minute. That's
enhancement talent.
That is very, very, very disrespectful. You just called Randy Hogan a jobber.
No, I said
no.
some people may say that.
No.
Some people
Some
may say
people
that.
like yourself.
Yeah.
You just called that man a jobber, and I think that's very disrespectful if you've never been in this business, never took one bump, never got in the ring, never put one toe hole on, never put one choke hole on, never did any of that, and you got the nerve to come out here and say things like that.
I knew that was going to come
No,
up.
you didn't.
I did.
No, you didn't.
Which is why I prepared this.
Okay, let's see what you got.
This statement. So this is the actual Wikipedia definition of a jobber.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Wikipedia is wrong about so many things. It's beyond stupidity. Now, you're going to go to Wikipedia. You want to know what's what. You come to me. You come to me, to somebody that's been in the business for a zillion years, somebody that probably wrote that, sent it to Wikipedia, and they changed it. I've sit on boards.
Well, let me ask
I've written laws.
Let me ask you if this is what you sent them. The act itself is
No, I didn't say it.
with the verb of jobbing. The act of booking rather than being booked, it's to job or jobbing out. To lose a match fairly is to job cleanly, and wrestlers who routinely lose matches are known as jobbers. Now, Dusty Wolf.
That is
how many matches did
that
Dusty
is
Wolf
beyond any sane man's comprehension, because that has one thing has nothing to do with the other.
Okay. Tell me why.
Because let me let you in on a little something here, since you don't know, and I'm here to give you today's edification.
That's what I'm here for.
You can take Wikipedia, print it out, and wipe your butt with it, because that's all backwards.
Okay.
Jobber comes from the word jabberoni.
Okay.
Jabberoni.
Jabberoni.
Yes.
Also known as jabroni.
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 Yes.
Jabron.
And you know what that means?
Yes.
These are the people that really enhance the wrestling business.
Like Dwayne Gill.
Wait a minute. Who? Gill, Johnny Gill, Dwayne Gill, it doesn't matter. And people like you should give them the utmost respect.
I am.
Because no, you're not. Don't try to lie. Because if it wasn't for people like that, because some job guys come out to be top guys. Some job guys don't. Some job guys are some of the best workers in the business, but they never get the crack of getting that opportunity to take it to the next level, because so many times your faith is in the hand of a real job guy, and we're going to leave them unnamed at this point. But on maybe another show, I will give you some of those names.
Of people that are holding back the talent.
I didn't say that. I say they held their faith in their hands.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
So
they held their faiths in their hands, and sometimes people never got the opportunity that they really deserved, and they were put down and credited as a jobberoni, a job guy, a jabroni, a Wikipedia list, whatever you want to put out there. And some of these guys, if it wasn't for guys like that, there would not be guys like me. And so that's why you should respect them.
And I do.
You don't.
I have the utmost respect.
No, you don't.
For them. I do.
No, you don't.
That's why we're
hey,
talking
look,
about enhancement.
I'm tired of you coming on Straight Shooting with Stevie Ray and disrespecting this business. You're going to either respect this business or you're not. Now, what do you got to say about Rip Rogers?
Great body. Great body on Rip Rogers right there. A great look. But you
wait a minute.
Now, you yourself, you had some interactions with Rip Rogers,
Wait a
didn't
minute.
you?
Wait a minute. I may have had interactions with.
What did you think about Rip Rogers?
I
mean,
may have had.
No.
Say what?
You've worked in the business. I mean, what do you say about Rip Rogers?
I say Rip Rogers is Rip Rogers. I mean, the last time I heard something about Rip Rogers, he was in big trouble with the police.
Oh, wow.
You know, I think he did something wrong. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it'll come to me shortly. Okay. But as far as Rip Rogers as a job guy, Rip Rogers could have been a top guy. At one time, I think he got pushed in certain small promotions.
Okay.
But in WCW, I don't know, not so much.
Okay.
But you know, it doesn't mean he didn't deserve one.
Now, there were some enhancement guys that had a long and productive career. One of them was the Brooklyn Brawler, for example.
Yes,
Steve Lombardi.
Steve Lombardi.
He's a guy that put people over forever,
yes.
But he had a really productive career. Now, the one was Iron Mike Sharpe.
Iron Mike Sharpe. Just you know what? Sometimes there's a thin line between enhancement talent and top talent. Sometimes you still got to realize this is the entertainment business. Mm-hmm. And like I said, sometimes it's in someone else's hands, your faith. And some people on this side might see you as being a guy right here. And another guy might see you being right here. But this guy has a little bit more pull than this guy. And that's where you may land in this business. And then some guys are just malicious. Some guys just want to hold people down for no reason. And it's a lot of guys like that. I would not call any names, but it was a few of them in WCW. One that I really think about on a day-to-day basis, because I really want to spit in his fucking face every time I saw him, because that's the kind of person he was. You know, and, you know, maybe that's just sometimes this business does that to people. But at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. But I would like for you to take this picture of my friends, High Voltage, and stop putting it on this film, because they were not enhancement talent.
Well, again, you got to talk to the producer about that, because I had nothing to do with it. You know, I came into this not knowing who we were going to be featuring tonight. I don't believe you. You put
my man Ned Brady, one of the best workers in the business, one of the best right hands in the business.
Nasty Ned Brady.
Nasty Ned Brady, who was a good friend of mine, who is a good friend of mine in the Florida area.
Yeah.
You know, and he worked on a lot of promotions in the Florida area. But, hey, that's how it goes sometimes.
Now,
who else do you want to talk about while you're at it?
Well, now, first of all, so a lot of these guys, or at least some of them that we see from WCW featured here, were at the power plant at one point or another. Now, you spent some time at the power plant as well, didn't you?
You know, I would like to ask you this.
Yes.
Where do you get your information?
Well, some of it
Where do you get your information?
Well, I have researchers that help me put this stuff together. Yeah.
With researchers like that,
yeah.
You know, it's going to be the end of this show.
So you're saying that you didn't spend time at the power plant?
What I'm saying is, yes, I've gone to the power plant,
okay.
but I do not like the way you put it in context.
Okay. Well, I'm
so,
sorry.
Yeah, you should be. You know, I've gone to the power plant to work out. Yes, I have. You know, but don't make it sound like I'm some power plant recipient. Don't do that.
Okay.
I went down to the power plant to stay in shape, to work with some of the guys, did things like that. Jody Hamilton, who was a great, great friend of mine, who his son, Nick, rode on the road with my brother and I for many of moons all over the United States of America. So I had great respect for him. And Jody, you know, he was a worker himself one time. And he was the masked, what was it? Yeah, masked assassin. And he was a top guy, you know. I remember one of his lines he used to always say, it kind of escapes me now, but I thought it was, me and my brother used to always tease each other about it when we hear him say it. Nah, it'll come to me. But, hey, that's what we did. And Jody always showed us little things that could make us better in the ring, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. But don't make it like I was down at the power plant with the guys that came out of there.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I don't know if you were down there training.
Well, you should know.
You know, maybe you were picking up some tips,
know.
You know, from Zan Panzer or Dwayne Gill. I mean, I don't know. You know,
what do you got against Zan Panzer?
I'm not saying I have anything against him. I'm saying
what do you got against Dwayne Gill?
You worked out.
How do you know they were at the power plant?
You know, Hardbody Harrison.
No. Let's go back. Don't try to just ease by those two names. Don't do that. How do you even know Dwayne Gill was at the power plant?
I mean, Dwayne Gill looks like somebody that worked out on a regular basis. So I figured if he'd be anywhere, he'd be at the power plant.
Now you're trying to be facetious.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I have a great deal of respect for this enhancement talent, like Joey Maggs, for example. He also looks like he spent a lot of time at the power plant.
Wait a minute. What makes you think everybody that was enhancement talent spent time at the power plant?
Well, they got to come from somewhere.
These guys were working all over the country. That's the disrespect part that I'm talking about. These guys worked all over the country. They didn't have time to be at the power plant. I'm going to tell you right now, if you took a guy out of the power plant and made him an enhancement guy, he messed that up. He wouldn't even know how. Do you know the skills you got to have to make a guy look good? That is a skill in itself.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
No, honestly, because.
Well, why didn't you say that? Why didn't you say that?
Well, I was leaving.
You didn't. You looking at it like most people. Oh, he's enhancement talent. See, it means he's nobody. But no, the enhancement talents are the real somebodies because they have a skill that a lot of people don't have. They had a skill I didn't have because I couldn't sell worth a crap. You know, and they would show me how to sell. And I'm like, okay. My brother was a very good seller. You know, I sold like Godzilla. You know, not was Godzilla about shot with a missile, like Godzilla that just stepped on a little landmine. You know what I'm saying? Okay, it was a landmine, you know. But these guys made how many times do I have to tell you that? How many times? This is what I would like for you to do. Okay? When a subject comes up, like enhancement talent,
yes,
I really want you to do your due diligence and find out exactly what they do. And if you don't know, I would like for you to call me, and I will give you all the information that you need. So when you come on this show, you won't look as disrespectful as you are looking right now.
I'm not
How would you like that?
I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
I think you are trying.
I'm just saying.
I think you're going out of your way to try to do this.
We're talking about enhancement talent here on the show
These people
today.
don't know that we've been talking even before this show started, and you were doing it then.
Yes.
And now you're doing it on the camera. So what's the difference? Don't try to lie to the people. I'm not going to let you lie to the people. I want you people to know exactly what they're dealing with here.
It's a real skill.
I don't know Bobby D, and I know you're about to bring his name up, so move it on.
Okay, so let's talk about Bad Barry Horowitz then. What were some of the great skills that he brought to the table when it came to selling? And One of your favorite Barry Horowitz matches. Let's talk about it.
I don't remember a Barry Horowitz match, to be honest. And secondly, when was his name Bad Barry Horowitz?
Well, in WCW.
And I don't remember that.
He wasn't patting himself on the back.
Yeah, he patting, Patty Barry Horowitz, Yeah. That was his gimmick. I knew Barry.
But he got that over, though.
I knew Barry way before WCW.
Okay.
I knew Barry back in the global days. So, I've been around Barry for quite some time. Very good worker. Very good worker. Barry had gotten pushes he was always that medium guy. He was either a job guy or that medium guy. But Barry Hall was a great worker. Really knew his way around the squared circle. It's kind of a shame he didn't really get a big push in WCW or WWF. And then again, I don't know why that is. Goes back to what I was talking about when people have their faith in your hand. But to me, Barry Hall was one of the best workers of his generation.
Well, he had a couple of spurts, especially in WWF, where they kind of, he got
Slightly.
a little bit of a push. But you talk about people who are enhancement talent who have that skill of being able to sell and put other people over. Guys like currently, I think one that comes to mind would be Dolph Ziggler. I've heard that it's been said about Dolph Ziggler that one of the reasons why he's never been able to stay on top when he's been pushed for very long is because it's the curse that he sells a little bit too well. And that he looks too good selling, so he's in that spot where he's constantly having to put people over. What would you think about that?
Well, I wouldn't know, but I wouldn't put it past it. But I do say this, like I was just trying to explain to you a few minutes ago, which, trying to give you today's edification, because you don't know, but I'm going to let you know, and I'm going to let you know why.
Okay.
But like I said, selling is an art within itself. And some people are very, very, very good at it. And some people are not. And like I said, it's some of these guys that I remember me and my brother used to work with, we would just go, wow. Wow. And after the matches, we would come to him and say, hey, man, I really appreciate that. You really made us look good. And a person that is not a selfish person, only a non-selfish person can do it. Because there's been a couple of times when the guy didn't sell worth a crap. And after the match, me and my brother wanted to kill him. And if it wasn't for security, I would have choked him until he defecated on himself.
Who was the worst seller you ever worked with? Or one of the worst sellers? Who was one of those people that you and Booker wanted to beat the crap out of?
Well, only
sell?
enhancement talent, not talent in the ring that we worked with. Because when you get at a certain level and you're doing pay-per-views and all that stuff, you better have your stuff together, or you wouldn't have ever gotten there. Mm-hmm. They don't just put anybody up there. So mainly when you get at a certain level, everybody got it down. Some people not as good as others. Like I said, I wasn't the best seller in the world at all, but I did what I could do. If it was my job time to do what I was supposed to do, I did it. But, when you get at that level, they don't let anybody in at the top level unless you know what you're doing. Mm-hmm. That's just the way. That's just the rules are. So when you ask me a question like that, it's very difficult because, it had to be. If we were there at that level, then they was doing what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Might not be as good as somebody else, but good enough.
Right.
And look at my buddy, Hardbody Harrison.
Yeah, what about him?
Look at my buddy. Do you know Hardbody Harrison won the biggest tough man contest on television?
I didn't know that.
Then why are you putting him on TV
Again,
and don't even know anything about it?
That was the producer.
Did you know Hardbody Harrison, when they were having the tough man contests on, I can't remember what station it was, USA, something like that, and they had these weekly tough man shows. Do you know Hardbody Harrison won the whole thing? And now you want to try to talk about it. That's what you did. You want to try to talk about it. Hardbody Harrison was the real deal. Did you know that?
Well, now I know that you bring that up, and I have a piece of – thank you, Mr. Producer. I have a piece of information here that I think that you might find very interesting. This is an article from November 22nd of 2007.
Wait a minute. Don't try to bring up the man's ill will and act as though I don't know anything about it. I know everything about it. I'm trying to get you straight on the man's credentials. I don't want to hear anything about the man went to jail for this, that, and the other, and he's probably still in jail. But I'm not here to say anything about that. I'm not here to step on somebody's throat just because they made a mistake. I'm not going to do that.
Holding 8 women as sex slaves is just a mistake?
Look,
This is from Fox News.
Anybody can make a mistake like that. Anybody could accidentally hold 7 to 8 women hostage if you don't know the door is locked in the back. You wouldn't know that. That could happen to anyone. That could actually happen to you if you happen to ever have 7 to 8 women in your home.
I doubt it very seriously.
You don't know that. You don't know that. So don't try to act like you do and try to lock them in the back. You don't know what you do if you had eight beautiful women. I don't know if they were beautiful. I'm just assuming. Yeah. 8 beautiful women in your home, and you don't want the ecstasy to stop. That can happen to you, and you don't know what you would do. Who knows what? So don't try to put the man on blast. Don't try to put his business in the street. Why didn't you address what I told you about the contest, the Tough Man contest? Why didn't you get the producer to bring you that?
Just came in my lap.
Yeah,
it was
you
just
didn't.
right there.
Yeah, no. Why didn't you get him to confirm what I was talking about?
Well,
why didn't you do that?
I'm sure.
Because you wanted to try to make mincemeat out of the man. You want to try to low rate him. You want to try to talk about him. Just like I said when this show first started, how you trying to disrespect these people.
No,
you
I'm
you choose the most disparaging thing to say about a man.
Dwayne
that
Gill,
Fox News say he went to jail for holding people hostage.
Listen.
Do you know that thing credible? Fox News actually credible?
Well, I'm pretty
really?
sure Hardbody Harrison's still in prison for holding 8 women as sex slaves.
How do you know that?
Because if you're holding 8 women for sex
how
slaves,
do you know it's true?
You're convicted of it.
How do you know he didn't? How do you know he didn't go to jail? How do you know he didn't go to court and beat the rap?
Mr. Producer, did he beat the rap?
How do you know he didn't go and beat the rap? How do you know that? You don't know that. You don't know anything about Hardbody. Okay. Hardbody has rolled up down the road with me. Yes, he had some, dysfunctional attributes about him. Yes, I'll say that. No, and that's things that Stevie Ray wouldn't be involved with. But that's just me. I'm not involved in a lot of things that professional wrestling does. You want to hold women hostage? That's you. I don't hold women hostage. Well, not that I can remember anyway.
Yeah.
But if that's what he did, hey, if he paid the price, hey, he got to do what he got to do. You know what I'm saying? He got to do the time. If he did the crime, he got to do the time.
Yeah.
But Hardbody Harrison was a very good wrestler at one time. Hardbody Harrison was a tough man champion. Why don't you look that up?
I'm sure he was.
No, you don't. How you going to be sure of that?
I'm sure
because I said it. You haven't taken anything I said with great assault since we started this conversation.
Here we go. In the year 2000, Hardbody Harrison also appeared in a Tough Man competition with broadcast from 1999 to 2001 on FX. The show was named Tough Man. In the year 2000, he was the show's heavyweight champion. And then 7 years later, he was convicted for holding 8 women hostage as sex slaves.
It's funny how the news can just go out of their way to try to make someone look bad. I don't think it was as I don't think it was as terrible as the news made it.
Do you think he used roadblocks to prevent them from leaving?
How can one guy hold 7 women hostage?
He was a tough man winner. I mean, he was a tough man winner. You said it yourself.
Of course
seems like
I
an
said
intimidating presence.
Seems like that, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, based on what?
Based on the fact he was a tough man winner.
Okay, you're a tough man. I'm still talking about 8 women.
Yeah.
You telling me why he's being tough on one, the other 7 can't run out the door?
If only Zan Panzer had been there to save them, it would have been so different.
There you go again.
Yeah.
There you go again, being disrespectful. There you go again.
I'm not.
If Zan Panzer was right here, right now, you wouldn't say that.
No, of course not. I would invite him to sit down and.
Well, then why you did? You're gonna be respectful to him if he's in your presence.
I'm not.
But if he's not in your presence, you're not gonna be respectful. I mean, what kind of? Come on.
No, I'm being.
And you're trying to do Hardbody Harrison the same way. I want to know why can't you talk about the man and his credentials in the ring? Why can't you talk about the man and his credentials as a tough man competitor? You want to bring up something like that's just like this kid Mixon from the Oklahoma, the kid that punched the girl in the face 4 years ago, and they still want him to talk about it to this day. The man has already paid the price. What do you think about that?
I think it's a pretty big deal if you punch a woman in the face. I mean,
4 years ago?
Yes, I think it's.
So
a big
you
deal
telling
4
me
years ago,
all the questions
today.
haven't been asked since then?
Well, I mean, I think you can ask the same question over and over and over again.
Why?
And get the same answer. Oh, I'm just saying they have every right to ask the question because he punched her in the face. Just like Hardbody Harrison did something that was unspeakable, at least according to Fox News and the court record.
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. No, we got to get this straight now.
Okay.
You think they should ask the man the same questions over and over and over again? He has made amends with the young lady. He has been suspended from the team for a year. Now he's trying to start a new chapter in his life, and you still want him to ask the question. What would be your question? No, hold on.
I wouldn't ask him the question.
No. What would be the question, since you want to stand up for the media, what would be the question if you was asking this man something? What would be your first question to him?
I wouldn't ask him the question. I'm simply saying the media has the right to ask him
That's
the question.
not what I asked you.
Yeah.
Since you agree with them,
Yeah.
what would be your question if you was in the media, which you are?
I would say my first question would be, what's your 40 time?
Now you're lying. You know,
Is
now
that not important too?
No, you should already know that. If you in the combine is over, his pro day
I don't
is
know what his
over.
40 time is. That's
Well,
why
you
I
wouldn't
asked.
know. If you was in the media, you would know.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah.
I don't know though. That's what I would ask him.
Okay,
That's what I would
if
ask
you
him.
did know that,
Yeah.
what would be your first question?
Okay, my first question would be, what's your vertical?
You know, you're getting sad about a minute. You get sad about the day. This is beyond any sane man comprehension.
Okay.
You know, you just said the media should be able to ask him whatever they want when they want. But then you're gonna, hey, what's your vertical? You know, and that's why he should come out there and karate chop you right on your carotid artery and make your blood pressure and everything stop as you lay in a puddle of fifth. That's what would happen to you if I was Joe Nixon.
Wow.
Mixon, rather.
I wish Joe Nixon the best of luck.
Now you don't.
Yes.
Don't lie. You would do him just like Hardbody Harrison.
Well, I was just reporting.
If
what I heard.
Hardbody Harrison got out of jail tomorrow, and I had him to call into this podcast,
Yes.
what would you say to him?
My first question would be, how was prison?
How disrespectful is
I mean,
that?
my
How
first question-
disrespectful is that? What do you mean? How is prison?
How is prison?
What context is it?
How does it compare to holding 8 women in your house? That would be my question.
You're beyond pathetic, man. That's just disrespectful, man. How is prison? Is it beyond the 8 women that you held hostage? I mean, really, brother? I mean, really? I mean, come on. I mean, come on.
Oh, man.
This man could have got railroaded for all we know.
Well,
Maybe he didn't have enough money to get proper representation. Do you ever think about that?
it's possible,
Well, you didn't bring it up.
but it's unlikely.
All right, okay. Next subject. Next subject.
Okay, so let's talk about the Hall of Fame before we move on, because I want to circle back to the culture of wrestling here in a minute. But the Hall of Fame, you got an opportunity not only to be at the Hall of Fame again this year, but you had arguably the best seat in the house. I mean, you were right up front. And you got to see Jim Cornette induct the Rock and Roll Express. They got an incredible ovation. What were some of your highlights of the Hall of Fame overall?
The Jim Cornette thing was what it was, but the whole thing was a very good presentation from all aspects and all watching that was involved, such as myself. Good seats, great seats. Didn't know I was going to be sitting on the first row, but I got to see a lot of great competitors going to the Hall of Fame. But you specifically asked me about Jimmy Cornette. What do you want to know about Jimmy Cornette? What did he do to you?
I love Jim Cornette. I think he's great. But have you?
I just picked up a little bit of disrespect in some way, shape, or form coming from you. Now, what is it about Jim Cornette? What did he do that was like something you didn't disagree with me? Then you posed the question as if you want me to talk about it instead of what's going through your feeble mind of yours. What's going on?
The only thing I was wondering is, have you ever seen?
The only thing I was wondering.
Have you ever seen the Jim Cornette drive-through video?
Well, I've heard about it.
You've heard about it?
Yes, I have.
Well, now it's your opportunity, live right here on Stand Up for Greatness, for the first time ever, for Stevie Ray to take a look at the Jim Cornette drive-through video, and I want you to react to this.
Okay, give it to me, and I'll check it out.
Now, for the context, they're at a Dairy Queen.
Who's in the car with them?
The Heavenly Bodies are in the car with them?
Heavenly Bodies.
We figured you'd have it already by the time we got up here. Didn't know what? Didn't know whether to fix it or not. We wouldn't have ordered it if we didn't want it fixed. Goddamn. This is a fucking comedy show. Is this like a
God.
Hey, don't you like me to goddamn come through that fucking window and cut you? There we go. Hey, we ordered the damn shit. But we're hungry, not because we wanted to fuck around. So don't cut me. Fucking ugly bitch. You've been waiting 15 minutes to motherfucking learn, you stupid son of a bitches. Anyway, we ordered goddamn $30 worth of fucking food and sit here for 15 minutes and they don't even start fixing it till we get up here? We're sit here 15 minutes. They don't even start the order. Fucking little cunt. Straight.
That's pretty much it. That's it.
That's it.
Start a fucking thing.
Oh my God.
Now, you
You
want
have-
me to talk about
Now,
that?
you have it. So your impressions of Jim Cornette and how
Yeah.
he dealt with that young lady
Right,
there.
right,
First
right.
of all, yes, yeah,
I've seen that happen before.
yeah, you have in person with
Yeah,
Jim
not
Cornette.
with Jim Cornette.
Oh, okay, just in
you know.
general.
Yeah.
Have you ever treated a woman like that in a
No,
drive-thru line?
But I've
Oh.
seen my brother do that before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my brother Booker T. He did worse. He worse than that.
Really?
If it was on camera, it would be better than the N-word with Hogan.
Okay, well, I'm not even gonna touch that.
Yeah, it would be better.
I'm not even gonna touch.
It would be
that.
better to the fans, not to me, of course. But
Right.
yeah, I seen him do that. He got ticked off at Popeyes.
They messed up his order.
They messed up his order. He
Yeah.
goes off,
Yeah.
and he gets a large, red beans and rice or something like that. He goes around the other side, goes back inside, and throws the whole thing at the people. He's a large red bean and rice. It goes all over the place. And they didn't get his wing special right or something like that.
I just got hit in the head by red beans and rice, courtesy of Booker T.
So that's nothing. That's nothing, you know.
Oh,
you
my
just
God.
cursing someone out, you know what I'm saying? You imagine a 6'2", 250-pound man
No.
with a tank top on and with some sweatpants come into Popeyes, mad as hell, and takes a large red bean and rice and throw it all over everybody. Oh my God! But hey, man, fast food restaurants can really get you pissed off.
They can. They
They can
certainly
really
can.
stay out of the fast
in-
food restaurants. That's the only thing I can say.
In
but
summary.
but as far as the Jimmy Cornette at the induction of the Hall of Fame of the Rock and Roll Express, oh man, Jimmy Cornette, the man has long wind. He has very long wind.
It's a long
and I was
speech.
like, is that what they call it, a speech?
Yeah.
I thought it was just an introduction. I don't know if it was a speech or not. I thought the speech came from the guys that was getting inducted. But man, he has long wind. But you know, I can really see it now because these guys had a long, illustrious career that is still going to this day.
Amazing.
So maybe they needed that much, you know, for especially the fans that didn't know him very well. The more I think about it now, I think it was he was kind of like enlightening people. That didn't know the longevity these guys have had in this business. So, you know, I can see that. Long introduction, but hey, great speech. It was what it was. That's Jimmy Cornette. I didn't know he liked to curse women out and things of that nature, but maybe he does.
Well, you know now,
Yeah.
courtesy of that video. So we've talked about enhancement talent tonight. We talked a little bit about the Hall of Fame. Before we started, we also talked about the subculture of wrestling because of something that's in the media recently, and that was the Mauro Ranallo JBL controversy. Now, you've known JBL for quite some time, and you're familiar a little bit with this Mauro Ranallo situation. Without going into all the details of who said what and what might have actually happened, we talk about the subculture of wrestling a little bit and this idea that there's hazing or there's bullying going on, especially when it's a grown-ass man who may or may not be bullied. I mean, what have you noticed or observed in terms of the culture of wrestling versus other sports that people may work in? Because Mauro Ranallo came from the world of MMA and came from boxing, comes into professional wrestling, and it just doesn't seem like for one reason or another it worked out.
You know, and I don't know why, because I thought Mauro Ranallo had thicker skin than that. Professional wrestling, you got to have thick skin. you got to have the thickest skin known to man. I've seen this business eat a lot of guys up. You know, it's not just Ronaldo. So whatever was going on had to be way beyond anything he's ever dealt with in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, nothing can get you prepared for professional wrestling but professional wrestling. No other sport can get you prepared for it because there's nothing else on earth out there like it, other than maybe Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey, the greatest show on earth. You know, if you were one of the pigs or if you were one of the elephants, if you're one of the crocodiles or whatever like that, that's what we are.
Or the bearded lady.
Or the bearded lady,
Yeah.
you know, or the trapeze people. You know, that's professional wrestling, and it's something that only a small percentage of people ever make it to the big time of. Very small, if you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Very small, as opposed to how many people that really get into it.
Yeah.
So when you get to that level, I remember we were going overseas. And, you know, me, myself, I've never been into this horseplay, hazing type thing that professional wrestlers do.
Mm-hmm.
And neither have my brother. We're from a different culture. In the African-American community, we don't haze like people in the Caucasian communities. Unless you grow up in that, then you understand it more. Mm-hmm. But not saying that that's good, bad, right, or wrong, whatever. I'm just giving you the layout of, you know, different cultures. And I remember we were on an airplane, first class. We was in 747, where the first class is upstairs. I can't remember. I think we were going to Germany. And somebody, I think they shaved a portion of my brother's eyebrow.
That's a mistake.
Yeah. I could be wrong. It could have been something else. It could have been somebody drawed something.
Do you remember who did it?
No, because I was.
Oh, you were asleep.
I was asleep also.
Yeah.
But when he woke up and saw it, he goes ballistic. I mean, straight ballistic. And nobody would say who did it or whatever. And I think he just chose a few people. You know, just you look like you might have did it. Yeah. You look like you might have did it, and you look like you might. You know what I'm saying? Mm. But nobody ever said who did it. But after that day, nobody ever hazed either one of us ever again. You know what I'm saying? Because just like my brother, if it hadn't been me, I would have went ballistic. I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have kicked somebody in the face regardless if he did it or not, just on GP. You like to haze this way, I'm going to haze this way. So it's different. So I've seen it happen to a lot of people. So more than all, if he didn't, that's one of the things, got to have thick skin. But if you're not into it, you got to let people know, hey, brother, you got to put your foot down and say, hey, dog, I ain't, you know, you're barking up the wrong tree. Get off my back or something of that nature.
Right.
And that's the only way you're going to get respect in this business, because I've seen it 1,000 times. You got to put your foot down. If you just bitch up, then you're going to always get bitched.
What do you think it is that creates this subculture or this idea, this mindset, this mentality that these things are acceptable in wrestling, regardless of what they are? It's hazing, bullying, if you want to call it that, whatever, versus, you know, any other professional environment.
You know something? I don't know. The only thing I can say is this. I love professional wrestling. Professional wrestling is very good to me. But I'll be the first to say this. The strangest people I ever met in my life was in professional wrestling. Yet the most loving people I ever met in my life was in professional wrestling. So how can I figure it out?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's something from the Twilight Zone or something, you know, like some kind of mist was, you know, just dropped on certain people, you know, and then they act this way and then they act this. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I say, the strangest people I ever met was in professional wrestling. The most coolest, loving, give you a shirt off their back people I ever met was in professional wrestling. I can't figure it out. So when things like that happen, it's not out of the ordinary, because that's just how some people are. Once you get into that culture and that's all you know, just continue to do it. It's pretty much perpetrated from one generation to the next.
Do you think maybe part of it, and at least this is part of my theory on it, is that you spend so much time on the road with the same people? 'Cause it's different than, if you work in boxing, you work in MMA,
right,
or some of these other things, because they're interchanging parts all the time. But professional wrestlers are performers and entertainers that are traveling for 260, 280 days a year all together. It's like family. It is the family.
It ain't like no Family Avenue. I tell you that.
Yeah.
But I will say this: you can put it in that context. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. I couldn't ride with anybody. I couldn't
Really?
do it. No.
Why?
That's just me. If it wasn't my brother or a couple other guys that used to ride with me, Brian Adams, God rest his soul. Me and Brian were very, very tight. Ernest Miller. Me and Ernest are very, very tight to this day. My brother and maybe a couple other guys. That was it. Other than that, I rode by myself because I know me.
Right.
I'm a different kind of person than a lot of other people. I don't like getting high. I don't like drinking. I don't like sitting talking about fucking wrestling all fucking day and how fucked up and miserable I am about it. And everybody in the business or behind in the upper echelon of what's going on. And those are the conversations in professional wrestling. I don't fucking like hearing that shit. It drives me fucking nuts. I don't even like hearing it today. Mm-hmm. So that's why I could only ride with certain people, because my mind has to be somewhere far away from what I do for me to just exist from day to day.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, that's what they're into. And that's all they like to talk about, Or they're talking about some other dumb, stupid-ass shit that I'm not really into, So it has a lot to do with, I'm not one to like to adapt to other people's culture. I like my own. Mm-hmm. Not that there's anything wrong with yours, but I like my own.
Right.
So I just kind of stayed in my lane.
What do you think, though, created that sort of love-hate relationship for you with pro wrestling? Was there a moment where you were like, I don't want to hear this bullshit anymore?
No, because...
Or you just were never...
No, because I'm a thinker.
Okay.
And anything that fucks with my thought, I don't like to be around. I've been like that since I was a little kid. And, that I like to get in my own space. Even my brothers and sisters just always say, he gets in his own space, and he likes to stay in his own space. And I had friends when I was a little kid, you know what I'm saying, and like to hang out with them. But when I'm in my own space, I can think about the things I want to think about. And there wasn't as conventional as what everybody else is thinking about. Mm-hmm. Why? I don't fucking know, But I was like that. That's not a wrestling thing, to be honest. So the love-hate relationship really does apply. It's got nothing to do with loving and hating wrestling.
Right.
It's got something to do with loving and liking myself.
Okay.
And when I'm not I can't think about something all fucking day and then do it also. I can't do it. That's something that I've never been able to understand with other people.
Right.
And you get in the dressing room, this is what people are talking about. You get in the fucking catering, this is what people are talking about. I'm like, whatever the fuck ever, man. So a lot of the guys that I really had conversations with wasn't the wrestlers. It was the crew guys. It was the camera guys. It was the guys working behind the scenes. We have these kind of bets going on, you know what I'm saying? These kind of games going, behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. So I'm with those guys.
Yeah.
Doing this kind of stuff, you know what I'm saying? We got different little pots that we got going in, whether it be football pots or, auto racing pots, stuff like that, and they're all doing it, so I'm in it too and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then we sit up and talk about bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Just talking about bullshit, Not that I didn't want to be talking about, certain things with certain, guys, but I don't know. That was my outlet. It was more as far away from
you needed that release.
Yes.
Yeah. Just to keep it together, really. I mean, yeah.
That was just my mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I can kick it and chop it up with anybody.
Yeah.
About anything. Anybody that knows me knows that. But it's just the fact that sometimes it just get overbearing.
Were there guys? So let's say take Brian Adams for example. So you said you traveled with him for a while.
Oh yeah, me and Brian tried for a few years.
So what was it about Brian that would allow you to travel with him, unlike some of the other guys? He just wasn't bringing that.
First
shit
of all,
up.
Brian is from Hawaii.
Okay.
And Brian's wife is I think Brian is even half Japanese, and I know his wife is, and he'd been in the Air Force. So we talked about everything. You know, we talked about wrestling, you know, a little, but not to the point where it's about to make you throw up. We were talking about different stories with certain people that we heard about this, that, and the other, and if it was true that he knew or something I knew, you know, things like that. We pretty much just laughed about every fucking thing, you know, and that was me and Brian.
Yeah.
That was me and Brian. And me and the cat, you know, me and the cat, we're both African American, so we didn't talk about, we didn't do nothing but curse each other out. You know what I'm saying? If we're going on a tour, you know, a few days on a tour, we didn't do nothing but curse each other out, you know, fucking the whole fucking trip. But that's the way African Americans talk to each other. So now you're in your element, so that's an everyday thing. It's just like somebody you know from your same neighborhood, you know? So whatever we talk about is like, oh, fuck you. You know, you don't know what the fuck you talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, one time we go on the road, and me and Ernest Miller is riding together, and I can't remember what towns we went to. And we getting our rental car, and we look up, and we see David Flair. You're like, what the fuck you doing out here? You on the road? And he goes, yeah. Now everybody's gone from this little airport or what town we're in. I can't remember what town we're in. And I go, who are you riding with? He goes, I'm not riding with anybody. I said, well, do you have a car? And I don't think David was old enough to get a car. He was only like 20 years old at the time, so he wasn't old enough to get a car.
Yeah.
I said, what the fuck are you doing here? You know? I said, who the fuck sent you out here with no fucking credentials to do anything? And he was like, oh, they put me on the road, man. And then I look at the cat. I said, you hear this shit? And the cat was like, hey, that's what happened, man. I said, well, damn, cat, we can't leave him out here, man. You know what I'm saying? And cat goes, yeah, we can't leave him out here. He said, man, pick all those fucking bags up and throw them in the fucking car. You fucking ride with us. And he said, okay. And he starts getting the bag. We got, hurry the fuck up, man. We ain't got all fucking day. You know, he trying to put him in neat and shit like that, you know. He finally gets him in the car. And we're like, man, get your ass in that fucking back. Don't say shit, you know. And he's like, okay, man. So as we ride, we being what, you know, me and Cat, we talking, we use the N-word, the F. We're talking like he's not even back there, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we know it's freaking him out, but we're not even thinking about him, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because this is how we talk to each other.
You forgot he's back there.
No, we know he was fucking back there, but who fucking cares? It's David Flair. The fuck you doing on the road in the first place? You shouldn't even be here, you know? But he would like try to get in the conversation, and we were like, man, who fucking asked you anything? Sit your ass back there and shut the fuck up, you know what I'm saying? Don't say shit unless you got something, unless we ask you something. So he rode with us for like 3 days, you know? But, you know, a lot of shit we just fucking with him because he was the green guy, the new guy, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But he was cool as shit. I was always cool with David before that anyway. And man, at the end of the loop, he was like, hey man, appreciate it, man, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh man, it's all cool, blah, blah, blah. I kind of forgot about it. I think I went home after the loop or something like that. But we had to go to the Nitro. I think it was Nitro or Thunder or whatever. Walking in the back of catering, and I see Ric Flair. And Ric Flair was like, hey, Stevie, can I talk to you for a minute? And I'm like, yeah, what the fuck you want? You know, saying to myself, yeah, what's up, dog? He was like, hey, man, I just want to let you know I appreciate everything you did for my son. I didn't know they had put him out there like that. And he told me that it was the best loop of his life, man. I don't know what you guys did or whatever, but he said, you know, y'all took care of him, and I really appreciate that, man. I can't thank you enough. And I was like, oh, man, no biggie, you know, because I remember back when me and my brother started, we was kind of in a situation like that, you know, when we first started. But it was, you know, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying, that dysfunctionality. You've heard me talk about the dysfunctionality of WCW on more than one occasion. How do you send a guy out here, you know, usually when you're going on the road, I'm going to call you and say, hey, Matt, are you on the road this week? Oh, I'll look at the schedule and see you on the road. Right. Hey, Matt, you on the road this week? Yeah. Who riding with you? Oh, man, nobody yet. Okay, you want to ride together? Yeah. So when I see you in the town, you know, we get a car together and we split all this, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, this kid don't know anything about that. This was his first trip ever. Yeah. You know?
And no one made any preparations for him at all.
And he was too afraid or maybe just too green to ask any of the other guys, you know, could he ride? I guess he figured somebody would go, hey, man, you can ride with us. I don't know what he thought, to be honest, once I think about it now. But David was a cool guy. He was a cool kid. And that probably was the craziest 3 fucking days of his fucking life. You know what I'm saying? Because he heard every and because he was imitating, he got to Nitro, and he was imitating us with other guys. I remember him, what motherfucker, goddamn, motherfucker. You know, he was doing this. And I was like, oh, man, was it that bad? He was like, oh, fuck. He was like, I loved it, man. He said, it was fucking great. Dave was a cool guy, man. Matter of fact, I seen Rick, I don't know, a year or so ago, and maybe a year or two ago, and I was asking him how was he doing. He was telling me everything he was up to. And I miss David. I haven't seen him in years, man. He was a good guy. But I'm just saying, that's pro wrestling.
That's the culture.
Yeah, that's the culture. But like I said,
it's not for everyone.
Right. And like I said, most guys smoke. I don't smoke. Cat don't smoke. I don't drink. Cat don't drink. I don't do drugs. Cat doesn't do drugs. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we could ride together. Any people that's into that, I can't ride with you.
Yeah.
Nothing against it. You can do what the fuck you want. I don't really don't. You know, drugs can be legal for all I care. You know what I'm saying? I just don't do them.
Right.
And I don't care who else does them. I just don't like to be around them. I just care not to be around them. You know, so. Or alcohol or anything else. That's just not me. It's not my lifestyle. I live a different lifestyle. So if that's what you're into, I ain't riding with you.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's just me. A little weed don't bother me, but everything else it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope my apple juice didn't bother you.
Yeah, apple juice always bothers me.
I was having earlier.
It always bothers me because it ain't apple juice. Who knows what it is?
It's apple cider vinegar.
Don't lie.
It's good.
It's
good for you.
This is what behooves me about this whole thing. Yeah. Why do you come on this show and lie the way you do?
I'm not about that life. I cannot tell a lie. I just can't.
Okay, that's Benjamin Franklin.
That's just not who I am.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Honest Abe.
Abraham Lincoln.
Honest Matt.
Abraham Lincoln, the biggest liar in the history of the United States. Biggest liar.
A topic for another podcast.
Biggest liar.
Yes.
Yeah, Honest Abe. Yeah, you chopped down a cherry tree, too?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I did.
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel about our podcast on enhancement talent, Stevie Ray?
A podcast on enhancement talent is what it is, you know. I just don't like the disrespect from you. I would like for you to bring up enhancement talent and talk about them the way they should be talked about and have a little bit more respect for what these guys do, because if it wasn't for these guys, there would be no guys like myself and other people that got a certain push at a certain level. You didn't know that, did you?
No, I know it now.
Yeah, but you didn't think about it, did you? You just want to put the guys down. Hey, look at Rip Rogers. He's got a good body. Call that a whatever.
Well, Roadblock as well. He has a good body, too.
Roadblock was a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Roadblock used to hang out with me at black strip clubs. Did you know that?
I didn't.
Well, you know it now.
I know it now.
You think you could have hung with me at black strip clubs where they have to pat you down before you go in the club, and if you got anything on you, they're going to choke the shit out your ass, and I'm going to let them. Would you be able to go?
Well, I'd leave my pockets empty.
Don't lie.
I'd leave my pockets empty.
Yeah. You better have a wallet or something.
Yeah, well.
You know.
To make it right.
Because I'm going to make sure you walk in, and I'm not saying he's not with me. Walk in. I want to see how tough you are.
I would look like Steve Dahl walking into the strip club.
Yeah, you look like Steve Dahl walking out of the strip club. Female-ish. That's what would happen.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what would happen. Me and Roadblock hung on my man Roadblock from New York, by the way. Yeah. We hung out in the toughest neighborhoods at the black strip clubs. Something I'm very proud of, to be exact.
Were the strippers fans of Roadblock? Were they a fan of what Roadblock?
If they were fans of mine, they were fans of his.
Okay.
If he was cool enough to be in this place of 99.9% black people, he was cool. Because that takes courage. Something that I don't know if you really have it down in your heart. I don't know you would have went. You would have stopped at the door and turned around and got back in the car. And stayed in the car until I came out at 4:30 in the morning.
Yes, I would have been David Flair, probably.
David Flair would have went.
Yeah, well, I would have needed a little liquid courage. and then I would have walked right in, yes. Well, that concludes Stand Up for Greatness with Stevie Ray. Let us know what you think for new topics on the show. Hit him up at @TheStevieRay on Twitter. Stevie, you got anything else for the viewers?
Stand Up for Greatness. We're going to shoot it straight. We're going to come at you straight, and we're going to talk about things that people do not want to talk about or afraid to talk about. Stevie Ray is never afraid to talk about anything. And if you want to chop it up with me, you know where to find me. I am not hard to find. I'm going to tell you like this. I walk it like I talk it. If you can hang with me and debate with me, that'll make you a somebody, you sap.